I met him in.
You met who?
I'm sorry, I met this brother, Johnny Britt, with the group Impromptu, man. And it was, I want to say 89, 90.
Yeah.
And it was at the B. Smith Festival,
Yeah,
man.
Motown.
Yeah, Mojet, and I was blown away, man. This cat. I remember this cat and this, it was this other trumpet, but he was with the group Impromptu. And I was just like blown away, man. I was like, damn. Can I curse? Fucking hot. Shit. I mean, you know, hot. It was just blown away. And I was impressed that there was a record label that really was getting behind jazz and putting in, you know, because a lot of jazz artists were struggling. And for Motown to create more jazz and have this stuff come in, him cats come in. I mean, it's an honor, man, to be sitting next to this cat again, man.
Oh,
really
thank you.
It's such an honor, man.
Thank you, man. It is natural. It is natural. I think it's natural, and then it has to be developed. I feel that I was born with the gift, especially of singing. Like you mentioned, I sang lead vocals in my aunt and uncle's church choir when I was 7, and I obviously didn't have any voice lessons. And that developed until, you know, when I was 12, I picked up the trumpet, started playing trumpet, later the piano, and then went abroad over to Versailles, France, right outside of Paris, to study at the Conservatory of Music. And I think it's a gift, and I think it's developed. You know, I teach every once in a while private students, especially for vocals, and you have to have something, you know, and some people don't have it, and some people have something that you can work with. So that, if that answers your question, you do have to have something. And yes, for me, it does come kind of by inspiration. It comes out of the air. It comes by experiences, you know, the writing and the composing and the ideas. You know, I think that one thing you know, I'm a mentor, and I tell my mentees, if you're gonna give music, say like a year or two, just do something else. You know, it really is a journey, and it's a long journey. For me, I was extremely fortunate. I think everyone has their own stories. My story professionally started on the road of becoming recognized worldwide was when Otis Williams discovered me from the Temptations. And then that's a long story. But Otis Williams and Melvin Franklin, they hired me as their youngest ever music director. That was after I had studied in France and moved to Chicago, studied there, met him like, I'll tell you the story real fast because it's actually a funny story and it's going to be in my book whenever I write a book. But the story goes like this. I had just gotten married to my beautiful wife, and I was playing in a band, a regular kind of a top 40 band. I was singing and playing keyboards. Actually, that's how I met my wife. She kind of, you know, came in and I was singing "You Are My Lady," and I started really singing "You Are My Lady" when she walked in. But long story short, we fell in love and she became my wife. But this very same band, it was in Indiana. We were playing at this place called the Holiday Star Theater, where a lot of famous people perform. And this top 40 band I was in the lounge area, the disco area where people dance. And the Temptations happened to be in the big amphitheater, you know. So on one of the breaks, the first break that we had, I saw their name on the marquee, so I ran over to the auditorium where the Temps were, right? And the show had just gotten out, so like I knocked on the door. The backstage was right there, and this big security guard standing there. And his name is Dragon, because I know, because I worked for the Temps shortly thereafter. And he basically just slammed the door in my face. You know, I was looking for like Otis Williams, and he just kind of like slammed it on the face, you know. And I went on to go into the auditorium where the concert had just let out. And I literally jumped onto the stage.
Wow.
Climbed onto the stage, and I walked backstage.
Wow.
And the first person that I ran into in the green room is who? Otis Williams. And I ran into him, and nobody's there but him and I, just like we're talking. And I said, "Hi, Mr. Williams, my name is Johnny Britt." I said, "I have some songs I think you would be interested in." And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he basically said, "All right, come to my room tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I said, "All right." And that was it. And I left out the same door. I run home and I tell my wife, "You would not believe who I just met. Otis Williams of the Temptations, and he wants to hear my song." So the next day, before my gig with the band, I go to his room at 7 o'clock. I'm there. And he's like, "What you got?" And I had his cassettes. I gave him some, my material. And dude, he just started smiling. And he just started smiling. And long story short, we became friends. And he saw this young, talented cat. And I wrote and I started writing for the Temptations. Started writing for his production company. And he saw my skill level. He saw my education, my resume, that whole thing. And he asked me, there was an opening for their musical director job. And he asked me to come to their show. They were opening up with the OJs in Chicago. And my wife and I went to the show, and they were already, like I said, doing my songs. And I go to the show, check out the show, go backstage, my wife and I, and he tells the guys, "Hey y'all, My Kind of Woman, Heaven." These are the songs that I wrote. All the cats, Melvin comes give me a hug, Ollie Woodson, everybody. And Otis says, "Meet me at the hotel." I go back to the hotel. And he says, "Did you check out the show?" I said, "Yeah, I checked out the show." He said, "Can you handle it?" I said, "Yeah, I can handle it." He asked my wife, "Can you handle it?" She said, "Yeah, you can handle it." So he said, "I'll tell you what, you write us an overture and she'll gig."
Wow.
And man, we left out the hotel room, ran down the hall, and I stopped everything that I was doing, because as a musician, you're always doing a lot of different things. And I wrote an overture. Long story short, they loved the overture, flew me to LA. On the way to Los Angeles, I ran into Romley Harris, who was part of the Earth, Wind & Fire horn section. And we went on the same plane together. And he told me, he says, "Johnny, this is your break." He's like, "This is your break." I go there and go to Otis's house, played him the overture. Then Melvin came over, played Melvin the overture, and then Melvin said, "It's your gig. It's your gig." And man, that opened up, my whole thing, because I toured the world with them. I was first signed to Motown Records through the Temptations production company, actually.
Wow.
Had a solo record deal.
Wow.
And then, of course, after that, I discovered and founded the group Impromptu, and we later signed with Motown Mojazz. So there you go. I was going to say, since you had asked me, and I will tell you this, the Temptations movie, the Emmy Award-winning Temptations movie, I was the musical producer on it.
Wow.
Myself, along with Dan Carlin.
You talking about the movie,
The Stars Leon.
Oh, that was a hot.
Thank
I
you.
watched that over.
Yeah.
That was a hot. You did the music. I didn't know.
I was a music producer. Well, I do this. Sometimes I do this on my show when I tell people that I was the music producer of the film. I tell them that my favorite song that I produced that's in the film was just my imagination. So I kind of say that, and then I just go into, each day through my window, I watch her as she passes by. You kind of go into a little bit.
Oh, sure.
I say to myself, you're such a lucky guy. And I kind of go into it. But yeah, but that was a huge thing for me. And that's part of history that will be there forever, and I'm just so happy to.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. These people, I think, are famous for a reason. They really are awesome. I mean, Jennifer Lopez, I just learned a lot from her as far as her being a professional. I worked, of course, I toured with Maxwell, and he's just brilliant. You know, he's brilliant. Great guy, humble guy, awesome talent, knows what he wants. Awesome singer. We played here at the Constitution Hall. All these sold out shows. He was fabulous. And of course, I toured with Josh Groban. That was a whole nother world for me, because it was more of a classical pop world. And he taught me how to kind of treat musicians. He was very, he was kind of like a coach, a head coach. You want the players to play for you. If you're a good head coach, you know, they're gonna wanna win for you. You know, some artists that I've worked with before, you know, they're kind of ego tripping and different. This is my show and whatever, you know, kind of belittle musicians. Because you have to understand, without the musicians, music doesn't get made. You know, and that's going back to the Funk Brothers, all the, you know, the Motown hits. If it wasn't for the Funk Brothers, you know, the Temps, Smokey, Diana Ross, all of them, it wouldn't have been the same. You know, every house has to have a foundation, and that's what, you know, musicians do. They make that firm foundation for the artists in order for the artists to shine and to do what they do. And that's why I'm so excited about my show in a couple of days here in DC at Blues Alley, because I have an awesome band, and you know, that makes my job easier when I know that music is there like I need it, for me to not have to worry about that when I'm doing my thing. So yeah, I learn quite a bit from each artist that I have the pleasure of working with.
Wow.
You know, one hand washes the other, and I've been really blessed to be able to wear different hats. You know, I love writing. Actually, my wife is my songwriting partner. We, like on my latest album, and we co-wrote, you know, the album. I love producing, and hitting the stage is it, you know, because I think a true artist, you know, you have a record, but a great artist, when you see them live, it's a life experience. And that's what you want. You know, I had the pleasure of singing on Luther Vandross' record. The album is called Songs, you know. Always forever love you. You heard that record, I'm sure. With him singing that, I'm singing background on that stuff. And he was amazing. I was in the studio with him. This dude was killing. I'm a singer, I know. But when I saw him live, it was killing. And so that's a great artist. You know, that's a great artist when you can make a great record, and then when people come to hear you, that you deliver. And when you deliver, it's kind of like what you're saying. You're asking me the first question. It's a gift from God. It's spontaneous. It's in the moment. A lot of things when I do what I do, they will never happen again. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I sing in the moment. I play in the moment. It takes me where it's taken me. The musicians dictate that, the way they play things. So I love what I do. I really do love what I do. And I do want to say, it's worth it. It's worth it. And I know that first question that you were asking me about, maybe for, you know, beginners or people that aspire to become successful in this business, I would only say to them, it's worth it for me, you know, because I'm extremely happy with what I do. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Is it rewarding? Extremely. And music is my life. You know, when I married my wife, I made it very clear to her that I don't know how to do anything else. I made it extremely clear to her. I made it clear to her that I would take care of her. But I made it clear to her that I don't know how to do anything else. So don't talk to me about getting on 9 to 5, working for somebody else. Because I've never done it in my life, and I never will.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.